Hey friends, and welcome to another Upcycled by Bri. Today I have got some brand new window projects for you. I have not seen these before, so I hope you like them. I'm using some IOD transfers. This is the Painterly Floral. And then I also have a Jamie Ray Vintage stencil. This is the general store sign. So these projects are going to be a ton of fun. There will be some DIY paint and some brand new ideas. So go ahead and get cozy and let's get right into these projects. While I dig through my half-finished project pile, take a second, click that subscribe button, and turn the notification bell to all so you don't miss any new videos. I decided it was time to make over a couple of windows that have been sitting around. I'm going to start by giving them a quick vacuum. I'll spray them down with some Dawn Power Wash, clean them off with a wet rag, and then wipe them down with a paper towel and Windex. Alright y'all, I'm taping this off, can you believe it? I'm going to use a special spray paint on this glass, but I don't want the overspray on the wood. I will go ahead and link the frog tape below, along with all of the paint and products that I'm using today. I'm going to use this Krylon looking glass spray. It is going to make this glass look like a mirror. So the directions are pretty simple. I'm going to shake it up for a couple of minutes. Then holding the can 8 to 10 inches, I will do 5 thin coats going back and forth in a sweeping motion. You only let the coats dry 1 minute in between. It's dry after 10 minutes and you can handle it after just 1 hour. So super quick DIY. The instructions say the spray will look dull, but the reverse side will appear shiny. So I sprayed the back of this window, and it will be the other side, the front of the window, that appears shiny. This will also allow me to apply a transfer to the front of the window without scratching up this spray paint. After the window dried for about an hour, I brought it upstairs and removed all of the tape. I didn't probably need to do this, but it did help keep everything nice and clean on the back since this will be for resale. Here is a look at the new mirror window. What do you guys think? The panes were a little loose, so I went ahead and sealed them in with some DAP clear silicone. I will link that down here for you guys below. And it does take a little bit longer to dry, but I just let it dry while I was working on the next few steps. This corner was a little wonky, so I just used a straight bracket here, screwed that in to make sure it stayed nice and secure. To make sure the metal bracket didn't scratch up my customer's walls, I attached some felt pads from the Dollar Tree with Gorilla Clear Grip adhesive. Now it's time for the fun part. I want to take a second to show you these gorgeous transfers. This is the Painterly Floral. It has sunflowers, lavender, and roses. I'm going to be using the roses today. I think they will give a great feminine contrast to this rustic window frame. I'm cutting up pieces of the transfer. I love that you can mix and match and make this completely your own. So I'll just remove the transfer off of the paper backing. And I've cut it flat at the bottom. That way it can appear like it's growing right out of the bottom of this frame. And then once you place it, you're committed. So make sure it's where you want it. I'm just going to gently press it down till about here. This is the little transfer stick that comes with the transfer. And I'm going to start rubbing to transfer the image onto the glass. This method right here is called riding the wave. I am lifting up the plastic while simultaneously rubbing the transfer down into place. It does make the process go quicker, but you need to be careful. If you're doing it on a very flat surface like this, it's easier, but maybe on a really curvy piece of furniture, this would be a lot harder. Now, once I get up to this wooden point here, I'm gonna go ahead and cram the transfer into the corner and hold it there with my finger. I work back and forth from each side, making sure that it stays balanced. Since this does function as a mirror now, I just put the transfers on each side. Make sure you save all these little pieces of transfer. I like to stack them up nice and paper clip them together. That way they don't get ruined. Last step, I need to burnish the transfer. I'm going to take a piece of Viva paper towel here, and I'm just rubbing it over the surface of the transfer. That's making sure the entire transfer is adhered to the surface. And here is a look at the final product. What do you guys think? I think it turned out beautifully. It is shabby chic, grand millennial, cottagecore, everything that I am loving right now. I will be selling this in my retail booth for $39.95. Before we hop into project 2, I want to remind y'all about the giveaway. We are 21 subscribers away from 6,000. When we hit 6,000, I'm going to be giving away one of my handmade decor boards. Now, I will link the video above to Tuesday's video that will give you the instructions on how to enter. It's super simple. Share one of my videos with a friend and comment shared on Tuesday's video. I will link that right here above. Moving on to project 2. This frame has no glass left in it, so I'm going to be cutting a piece of drop cloth to size to attach to the frame. Giving it a quick iron on low heat with no steam. I'm using a combination of hot glue in my Gorilla glue gun and staples out of my staple gun to attach the drop cloth. First up is the glue. I apply a generous amount and pull the drop cloth taut from side to side. I do that over the entire frame, working little sections at a time, pulling it taut and letting it dry. I applied a generous amount of staples. The glue will keep it from fraying. The staples will make sure it stays in place. These are the picture hangers I've always used, right? And they're flimsy and they bend, and these little teeny tiny nails are impossible to hold, and I always hit my thumb. So I found these on Amazon. They're nice thick metal, and then they have the points built in. They're way easier to use. I'll link them down below for you. I flip it up and it looks great. I thought about stenciling beforehand, but then I would have had to worry about pulling the fabric in just the right spots. Can we just take a second to appreciate this authentically chippy paint? Gorgeous. I'm gonna do a custom mix of Hay Sailor and White Swan to get a nice grain sack blue. DIY paint is great for using on fabric. It's highly pigmented, so it's going to show up really well, and it is nice and thick, so it's going to be easy to apply with my JRV stencils. I'm just eyeballing a little mixture here. I can't even tell you the exact measurements, but I just mixed in some colors until I found the perfect blue I was going for. I'm using my JRV grain sack stripe stencil to make this job super easy. I'll take a second to measure it, make sure it's centered, and then using my custom blue I just blended will make a beautiful grain sack stripe. Using my number 24 JRV stencil brush, I am getting a little bit of paint on, wiping most off, and then I'm offloading the brush onto my drop cloth before pouncing it on top of my stencil. The pouncing method seems easier with this stencil since it is so long. When I tried to swirl it, it was moving these tiny little pieces of plastic striping too much. Notice how I do about half of it and then flip the stencil over and slide that edge back up under the frame. I did have to do just a little bit of touch up with a artist brush because the stencil didn't make it quite to the edge. But overall, the stencil was really easy to use on this application. I have really liked using it on fabric and smalls. I'm going to use a combination of 2 other stencils here to create a custom vintage looking sign. Don't forget you can find all of the paint and stencils I'm using today on my website, upcycledbybri.com. I will link them down below for you. For the wording, I went with DIY black velvet. Little black dress would work great too. And the reveal, how did I do? Oh yeah, I'm getting better, y'all. Practice makes better. Now I'll be using pieces of the American Agriculture stencil to make this a one-of-a-kind sign. Now I've got the big letters from the number trio pack, and we're going to put established 1912. And back to the general store stencil to get some of those smaller words such as the dry goods, linens, hardware, and feed. And a look at the final project. What do y'all think? It's time for the hardest part of the video. Comment below and tell me which one of today's projects is your favorite. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, share this video with a friend who you think may love it as well, and join me back here on Tuesday. We will be deciding on milk paint versus DIY paint on my bedroom furniture makeover. Hey friends, and welcome to another Upcycle by Bri. Hey friends, and
then it says to, you guys aren't going to understand that. Luke, I am your father.